Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's collaboration meeting. I'm Lachlan from Rainbow Community Services, and our organisation provides a range of services to meet the needs of the Indigenous community here in Rainbow. We've recently completed some research in the area on Indigenous people using our services, and it's been established that our services aren't meeting the needs of the Indigenous community in terms of education support, economic development and employment support. Everyone in this room has been invited to come to the meeting to discuss collaborating together to support Indigenous people in the community with education, economic development and employment, so we can hopefully meet their needs at a more satisfactory level. Firstly, I'm going to introduce Greg as a representative for the Centre for Participation. Greg is going to give a rundown of how his organisation helps support Indigenous people through various education programs and courses that they run quite regularly. Thanks, Greg.
Hi everybody, I'm Greg, and I'm grateful for being invited to be part of this project, and I believe it is going to be great for the Indigenous community if we can get this right. The Centre for Participation provides a range of courses and programs that are available to people within the community. These include specific courses just for women, courses in developing computer skills, courses in English language skill development, first aid courses, various workshops, as well as lifestyle and community courses. These courses run quite often and are reasonably cost effective, with financial support being able to be applied for to cover the costs. The programs and the courses are designed to upskill people in the workforce or people looking to enter the workforce, and we feel that this is a viable education path option for Indigenous community members in Horsham.
Thank you, Greg. That was fantastic. Sounds very promising. Next, I'm going to introduce everyone to Ross, a representative of CVGT Employment Services in Horsham. Ross is going to give us a rundown of how his organisation helps support the Indigenous people through their Indigenous employment program. Thank you, Ross.
Hi, I'm Ross, and I'm thankful for being given this opportunity to collaborate with you all as well. CVGT understands that Indigenous people bring valuable diversity to the workplace, and we work closely with Indigenous people to find the best employment for them and great employers to employ them. Our Indigenous programs are designed to improve community connections, create wider options and understandings, and help get and keep Indigenous people in the workforce. This all greatly helps lead to more efficient employment support for the Indigenous community members, and thus helps their economic position improve as a result. At times, it can be difficult to get people to engage in employment services, but through working as a collaborative team, we believe that it will be much more beneficial to people in the local Indigenous community.
Thank you, Ross. That was fantastic. Sounds like you have a great program there. Hopefully it'll work really well with what we've got planned. Next, I'm going to introduce everyone to Olivia to my right. She's a representative from Goolum Aboriginal Cooperative Network in Horsham, and also happens to work for Grampians Local Aboriginal Network in Horse Gap, which is 45 minutes from Horsham. Thanks, Olivia.
I'm Olivia, and yes, I agree. It's a pleasure to be part of a collaborative event to improve the social issues the Indigenous community believes need addressing. Goolum is the local Aboriginal cooperative that strives to provide a holistic model that responds to the physical, social, emotional, cultural and spiritual needs of the Indigenous people. In particular, we have a community home support program, a men's support group and a Celebrating Sisters program that we feel will help strengthen and empower Indigenous community members to live their best lives. The men's and women's programs run every 2 weeks, but Goolum is open all weekdays. We believe that in working in collaboration with CVGT and the Centre of Participation that we will be able to help the required education support and employment support, which will lead to economic prosperity for Indigenous community. I'm also a part of the Grampians Local Aboriginal Network in Halls Gap, which I work for 1 day of the week. This is very similar to the Goolum Aboriginal Cooperative Network, in that local Aboriginal networks bring Aboriginal people together to set priorities, develop community plans and improve social connection with each other in the hopes of empowering the community's individuals. This is more of a Victorian regional network on a larger scale, but our particular network in Halls Gap focuses on the Grampians region of Victoria.
Thanks, Liv, for your input. That sounds fantastic. Good to have a Aboriginal service community a part of this project. Well, in order for everyone to work collaboratively, guys, my idea is that everyone here present commit to setting a time over the next 4 weeks where Rainbow Community Service can host a community event here in Horsham and invite the various stakeholders present at this table to the meeting to explain a little bit about more of the services and resources that they provide, with resource material being provided to the attendees from each of you guys. If you guys are happy for me to develop a group email chain to continue correspondence and to provide updates to each other, planning progress before the next event, does that sound alright?
Yes, that's fine.
It's a really good idea.
Yep, that works from my end.
So basically, if each of you guys can plan a 15-20 minute presentation on the services that your organisation or network provides to the local Indigenous community, we can work towards addressing the gaps in these social issues. I will do the advertising for the event once people are able to return to their offices, and we can set out a date for the meeting once everyone's checked their calendars. It's vital that we all communicate really well with each other and be as transparent as possible. After the community event, say in 4 weeks' time, we can all keep communicating with each other and keep an open chain of communication in terms of resources and contacting each other for services and things like that. In 3 months' time, I will develop another survey for the Indigenous community to see if they are feeling more supported in the social areas of education, economic development, employment support, and we'll reassess down there. So, does that sound alright? Thank you everyone for coming.